for what like Kindiki was trying to do for Mbwekse does not work for him. Mbwekse, it needs a young person, and it was developed by Sakaja. So Kindiki is borrowing so much on the political nicknames. It is Mbwekse that works very well for Sakaja na Kulombotov, because Sakaja has presented himself to the public as a teen, as a Gen Z, as a young person. So for Mbwekse and Kolombotov and whatever, those one will work very well for Sakaja. But for Kindiki, he must come up with his own name apart from copying. The same thing happens to William Ruto. He must come up with his political nickname so that it's developed well.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadel Kabir. It is always a pleasure to have you joining us for this conversations to help build the political arena. I'm with a political communication expert and consultant, Chapia. I told you every single Wednesday we'll be having these conversations to take a look at different sides of the political arena, what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong, and what they can actually do better. Today we're talking about political nicknames. You know him as Baba, Agwambo, Jacom, Raila Odinga. These are nicknames. Some call Kasongo, Hasla, Zakayo, William Ruto. Nicknames. They call Kalonzo Watermelon. They can call Rigathi Gachagua Rigathi. Why are these nicknames important when it comes to politics? I'm here with Chapia for this conversation. Great to see you once again. Thank you for coming by to have these conversations with me.
Thank you very much. So we discuss about political names. The political names, they developed the political character. So the name of the name given, the nickname given to a political figure, it developed that character. So for today, we are just discussing the professional aspect of the political nicknames, the impact, the positive impact, and the negative impacts. For example, if we start with the naming of the giving out of the political names, we find that like the recent ones for Kindiki, we found out Rigathi Gachagua moved very fast and came up with Kindiki's political nicknames. Now we know Kindiki as Mr. Yesa. We know Kindiki as Mr. Moneybag. We know Kindiki as Mr. Soprano. So for that effect, it is now the Kindiki's team, they're supposed to counter those names, because those names are not positive. They are not adding value to Kindiki. They are degrading the office of the deputy president, but in a political satire.
You have started very fast. It'll take us slowly.
Yes.
We want to talk about the importance first.
Yes.
Because it is very important for us to understand why is it important for both sides of the arena to come up with political nicknames. Start with this. Why was it important for Rigathi Gachagua to actually call Kindiki Mr. Soprano?
Thank you very much. The importance of political names for political players, it is like a hide and seek game. That is, the political players for side A, they are hitting on political players of side B. So one of the importance of this political name is to destroy the personality or the brand of that individual. So when Rigathi came up with the name like Mr. Soprano or Moneybags or Mr. Yesa, one of the objectives was to destroy the personality. So it's destroying the branding of the deputy president. So those political names, they are basically, one of the importance is just to destroy the opponent. But on the other hand, they also build this opponent. If you have a positive political name like Baba, Agwambo, those are the positive political names. They build that character. Yes. So in this political game, you must make sure that your political candidate has a positive political name. But if your political candidate doesn't have a positive political name or political nickname, then it is the work of the communication team of that candidate to create a name of that political person.
How soon should you create your political name? how soon? Because we knew Sonko as Sonko when he immediately came to politics.
Yes.
The Rakanidi senator is called More Fire.
More Fire.
Why is it important for you, and how soon should you create it?
The political name is supposed to be created from the word go. Before you get into politics, you should have a political name that your peers or your friends refers to you as your political nicknames. So that when you get to the murky, dirty politics, you already have a name.
And when Babayao came and
yes,
we knew him as Babayao.
We knew Babayao when he was an MP for Embakasi,
yes.
before even he did MP for Kabete. So by the time Babayao was going to become the governor of Kiambu, he already had the name. So it was very difficult for opponent to come and give him a negative political name.
Yes.
But if you leave it open, if we join politics open without a political nickname, then it becomes very easy for opponent to give you a negative political nickname that destroys you.
This is what happened with Kindiki.
This is what happened with Kindiki. The good professor came into the politics, but he did not prepare maybe to come up with a political nickname. And who is Rigathi? He works on it. He comes up with a name, Mr. Soprano, Mr. Yesa, Mr. Moneybags, and that is how those political nicknames, they will destroy Kindiki.
Okay, so how do you develop a political nickname? Say Kindiki now. He has all the bad nicknames.
Yes.
Mr. Moneybags, Soprano, Norma C. Norma. He
Yes.
came up with Norma C. Norma
Yes.
himself. How do you develop this political nickname for your own advantage as a political candidate?
Very good. As a communication person, the political nicknames are supposed to be developed by the communication team of that particular candidate. One of the things you consider when developing this political name is the physical appearance of a person. For example, if you want to develop like how Baba was developed, or Aguambo, or Raila Tinga, if you look at the physiques of Raila, is masculine and strong. So you develop that political name regarding his physicality. But if you look at, and then another factor to consider when developing this political name is the activity or the theme of that particular politician. For example, if now, like, if I pick on William Ruto, the theme of William Ruto is constructions. So if you want to develop a political name, you develop what that particular character likes. For example, for William Ruto, a good name for him, it can be like Mujenzi, because he talks of construction. So when you are developing a political name for William Ruto, you do what he likes most. Niaje, like my friend. My friend is a good name. Like if you consider towards 2022, the name Hustler, William Ruto picked it automatically. But when he got into power and after dismissing Rigathi from office, there was a gap. So that's why Rigathi moved very fast and the team. And now they come up with several nicknames to destroy William Ruto, Zakayo, Kasongo, Mwizi, and all that type of stuff. So when you are developing this particular name, it is the work of the communication team of a person to develop those names. So we consider the physique, we consider the activities, we consider the language of that particular person, we consider the appearance, and then we consider the theme, the target audience, whether it's targeting the youth people. For example, like the name Rigathi he was nicknamed with a young person who was around 22, 23 years. So you find that name, it fits the audience, the young audience. But when you come now to the senior citizens, like the name Baba, it fits a mature audience. So one of the things you consider the type of the audience you want to target to be using that particular name.
How do you sell it? You have your name, now you need to sell it to be embraced.
Yes.
We now know Rigathi as Wamunyoro.
Yes.
Mutu ya Murima.
Yes.
Now he has decided, when he started calling Ruto Kasongo, Mwizi wa Mashamba, and he says, Mwizi wa Mashamba harambe, Kasongo harambe, Zakayo harambe. How do you now sell it so that it can be embraced? When
you come up with a political nicknames, now it is your team to sell it, because this political name will define your brand. That is, a politician has got three status in communication. One of those status is that a politician as a person. So you can brand that name to fit the characteristic of that individual individual politician.
Yes.
Or you can come up with a brand to separate the politician as a person and brand him with that particular name. So it needs good people in marketing. It needs your team to get used to that name, to start referring you by that name, so that now the larger crowd or the entire country can adapt that name. So it is advisable you start nicknaming your candidate from the day one, so that the opponent will not have an excuse. By the time they are coming to nickname him with a negative or derogatory political name, you already have a particular name. So it is developed it's a brand. How you market a brand, that is how you develop the political nickname. And in case if your candidate has got a negative political nickname, it is now where you come in to do rebranding. So you rebrand that candidate now with your original political nickname you want that particular candidate to have. For example, if we pick on Zakayo or Kasongo, that political nicknames are negative to the president. So it is upon the communication team of the president to rebrand him afresh, to rebrand him and to come up with new names and then sell through the euphoria, through the waves, through creating excitement, through spectacular, and they develop that name.
Can you really deal with this Nabi or El Chapo or Kasongo name or Zakayo? Can you really deal with it for the masses to forget that we once called him tax collector Zakayo?
It is very much possible. What you need only to do for the masses to forget the names like Zakayo, Kasongo, El Chapo, Muwaji, Mwizi, is to rebrand William Ruto. You rebrand him as a person from the communication point of view. You rebrand him afresh. You come up with the new names that you want the community or you want the Kenyans to refer to him. Then you set the launching of that name. It should be spectacular. It should be exciting. It should be marketed well. It's like Safaricom. We all know there is Safaricom. But every day when you wake up or when you are in the street, you will see advert of Safaricom. So you advertise that name. And then you develop policy on that new nickname. And after 1 month or 2 months, you will find that now his supporters will be referring to him using the new nickname, and as now the opponents struggle with maintaining the old nickname, but with the excitement and a lot of spectacular in launching or rebranding that particular person, that name can slowly, the negative nicknames can slowly go away. But if you just leave it that way, it will be a field day for the opponent to hit him until 2027.
Can we use speeches as nicknames? Because now we are referring to Kindiki as Noma si Noma, Fire si Fire.
Yes.
We are referring to Natembea as Tawe.
Yes.
We know Shenzi Sana by Francis Atwoli. How do we use these speeches and then they become political nicknames?
Very good. When you want to develop, if now it is want to come from the individual, for example, Kindiki picked on Noma si Noma, but that is a copied political name. Noma si Noma belongs to Joe, and there is no way Kindiki will be Joe, because Joe said it in a very nice way when he is dressed like a Jensi. But Kindiki is saying Noma si Noma na makoti na masuti, so it does not augur well. But when you come to a person like Atwoli, when he's just releasing its naturally Shenzi type, then you find many people have adapted him as the Shenzi type because of the repetition. So if you want to model your candidates on this particular thing, you can pick on 2 words, fanya kazi, so that during this presentation of this candidate, throughout his presentation, he will mention that name, fanya kazi, 10 times. So the crowd, when they will just see the person, they will know fanya kazi, amefanya nini? Amefika. So that is how individual person can develop his own political nickname. But when you are coming up with these nicknames, avoid copying existing names. There is no way Noma si Noma can move from Joe to Kindiki. So Kindiki should look for his own political name, but at least he tried.
Okay. Yes. Are there examples internationally? I like to look at international because we know that Kenyans do love international politics, and Sleepy Joe came from Trump. Are there examples internationally that you could advise candidates in Kenya to look into?
Very good. If you look at international levels, we have like Sleepy Joe. He was called Joe Biden, but Trump used to call him Joe Biden. So those are some of the things that when the former president of the US was campaigning, his team did not come up with good, positive political names. So Trump moved in very fast and developed this name to depict him as a slow character. And it affected his presidential candidates. But if you look at this great woman, the Margaret Thatcher, he was used to be referred as the blood woman, a no-nonsense woman, an iron lady. So he developed, it is his team that developed that name. And I think Martha Karua also picked from that the iron lady. Because now the iron lady depicts a strong woman, a modern woman, educated, learned, and ready to take on the country. So at international level, we find out that Trump managed to destroy Joe Biden, but also Joe Biden, they picked considering the physicality of Trump. They also named him an airy dolly, a white hairy dolly, the way he looks like. So those are some of the scenes that have played at international level.
Why do you think some don't hit very well with the masses? Like Wetangula's Papa wa Roma is not really known very well with the masses, or Mwana wa Hana for Mudavadi.
Yes.
Why do you think some remain at the political elite level and don't come to the ground very well?
Very good. For Wetangula, when you are picking up a political name, it must resonate well with the crowd. For Papa wa Roma, it is normally known for Catholics. That is, the Papa Roma is referred to the Papal or the Roman Empire.
Yes.
But in Western Kenya, we don't have that Roman Empire. So the Papa wa Roma is not picking because it doesn't have or it does not resonate with the crowd. Mwana wa Hana for Mudavadi Musalia, it is not picking. What tried to pick for Musalia was the earthquake.
Yes.
When he came up with the earthquake and he developed it himself. So after every sentence, Musalia was putting the word earthquake. But Mwana wa Ana, it is his parent. So and in most of our communities or Kenyan community, we respect people's parent. So to refer to him as Mwana wa Ana, it does not augur well with the young, rowdy crowd. Yes. But at the peers, at the high level, it comes out very well. So when you are want to come up with a nickname, the political nickname, come up with the one that resonates with the crowd. Otherwise, it will not perform the required functions.
Do you think there is a way you cannot deal with some nicknames? Like Kalonzo Musyoka Watermelon, it just sticks. Yes. No matter what they do, no matter how they try. Do you think there are some that you cannot just rub off?
For Kalonzo, if you have a negative political nickname, you are supposed to start rebranding as early as possible to do away with that political nickname. When we come to the politics of 2007, that is when Kalonzo, when he joined the late retired president Mwai Kibaki. So that is how now the watermelon was developed, because Kalonzo was with opposition and supporting opposition. And immediately Kibaki won. Instead of Kalonzo sticking to support the opposition, he crossed the ships and joined the government. Yes. Then it was the opposition that nicknamed him a watermelon. And Kalonzo did nothing. He did not rebrand. He did not work against that watermelon. It is recently, I think this year or last year, when now Kalonzo is rebranding his party, Wiper Patriotic Party or something. So if you have a negative political nickname like watermelon and you don't start working against it in advance, it will stick and it will get to the mind of the people and it will be very difficult to remove it. It will become a communication crisis. So where watermelon has reached is a communication crisis. So it is Kalonzo's team that needs to sit down and rethink it through. How can they rebrand him afresh so we do away with the watermelon? So when you get a negative, your candidate has a negative political nickname, watermelon, shenzi type, mwizi, muuaji, you must start rebranding that candidate before it gets stuck to the mind of the people.
Finally, your advice to these political candidates. Kindiki, I saw his video of Mbwetse. Mbwetse Ruto. Yes. What is your message now to these political leaders who are really trying very hard to hit the masses with political nicknames that can stick. And when you go to vote, you remember, I'm voting for Baba Yao, I'm voting for Sonko, I'm voting for Uncle Mudavadi.
Very good. For what like Kindiki was trying to do for Mbwekse does not work for him. Mbwekse, it needs a young person, and it was developed by Sakaja. So Kindiki is borrowing so much on the political nicknames. It is Mbwekse that works very well for Sakaja na Kulombotov, because Sakaja has presented himself to the public as a teen, as a Gen Z, as a young person. So for Mbwekse and Kolombotov and whatever, those one will work very well for Sakaja. But for Kindiki, he must come up with his own name apart from copying. The same thing happens to William Ruto. He must come up with his political nickname so that it's developed well. So my opinion on this is that the political nicknames, if the candidates cannot come up with it, it is his communication team can sit down and advise the candidate so that how the candidate can develop that particular name. But if you have a negative political nickname and you are not working on it, it is undoing and it will affect you as a person. If you have a positive one, you work on it. For opposition, they will give government negative or derogatory political nicknames. So it is the work of the government to rebrand and also to give them the negative political nicknames.
To attack.
Politics is a game of chess. They hit you below the belt, you hit them next to the heart. That is how politics is done.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. It's all about political messaging and nicknames. I'm sure you haven't had such better conversations about the political arena. You say if they hit below the belt, you hit close to the heart. Thanks for tuning into this conversation. Thank you very much, Shapiro, for coming. Every single Wednesday, we'll be having these conversations with him. So tune in every single Wednesday. Goodbye for now.